Hey, how's it going, everybody? Today I'm going to be talking about the movie Thumbelina from 1994. This is an animated movie that I've really never heard much about. I've seen that it existed just scrolling on Disney+, but it's not one that I ever watched growing up. And so I decided to check it out for the first time. I thought this was like a Disney movie from like the 60s or the 70s, one of those ones that kind of got lost in the weeds, one that I just never heard anything about, probably wasn't very critically acclaimed, not a fan favorite. But it turns out this movie's a lot newer than I thought it was. 1994, I guess now, is a long time ago, so to speak. But this movie coming out in the 90s makes it a lot newer than I thought it was, because I did think this movie was like the 60s or the 70s or something like that. I thought it was one of those Disney films that, I just never watched growing up. But it turns out this isn't even really a Disney film. It is and it isn't. Thumbelina was not made as a Disney film, but it was made to look like a Disney film. The studio and the director and the people in charge wanted it to feel like a Disney film and look like a Disney film to help promote the movie and to help get people in the theater watching the movie, and of course to help the movie make money. And so they took steps to make sure that people kind of mistook it for a Disney film. The look, the sound, things like that. And something that I think was really smart and one of my favorite parts of the movie, casting Jodie Benson to be the lead character Thumbelina. She had previously voiced Ariel in The Little Mermaid. And the waters get even more murky when it comes to confusing the audience back then with, is Thumbelina a Disney movie, is it not? Because Thumbelina was based on the story by Hans Christian Andersen, who also did the story for The Little Mermaid. And so both of those movies being based on Hans Christian Andersen's stories and starring Jodie Benson and having that sort of Disney look that Thumbelina was trying to recreate, it did kind of confuse audiences a bit, which was ultimately the goal, to hopefully get audiences to go see their new Disney movie so that they could make that Disney level money. But all that said, Thumbelina was not made as a Disney movie. It was not produced by Disney. It was not made by Disney. That said, why is it sort of a Disney movie? Because Disney now owns Thumbelina after their acquisition of 21st Century Fox in 2019, which of course included the major thing, 20th Century Fox, and so all those movies are now Disney movies. And so Thumbelina is technically a Disney movie now, but it wasn't for the longest time. Now, with all that said, as it pertains to the movie itself, Thumbelina is a very weird movie. I thought parts of it were good, but as a complete movie, I'm not so sure. Although this isn't a Disney movie, it is a musical, and I think that some of the songs in this movie were bangers, honestly. There are a lot of songs in this movie. Some are very much better than others, but I think that there are some that are just really good, and I'm kind of surprised I haven't heard them. Now, I will say, I did recognize the song called Soon, which was originally sung by Jodie Benson playing Thumbelina, and then reprised later in the movie by Barbara Cook, who is playing Thumbelina's mom. I don't know where I've heard this song before because I've never seen this movie. There are a few other versions of this song floating around out there. I don't know if I would have ever heard them anywhere on the radio or anything like that, so I'm really just at a loss for where I know this song from. But when I heard it, I don't know if I recognized it the first time, but in the reprise, I definitely recognized it, and I was like, wait, I know this song. And I'm still confused. And actually now, after thinking about it for a couple seconds, I did recognize it the first time that the song was sung in the movie, because no, I didn't recognize it the second time because I remembered it from earlier in the movie. No, I recognized it the first time in the movie. That's what threw me off. And speaking of the music of this film, I thought it was generally pretty good. There were some that I thought were a lot better than others, but as it turns out, this movie won a Razzie Award for the worst original song in 1995. For the song Marry the Mole, which honestly I didn't think was that bad in this movie. I didn't think it was like the worst song of the year in a movie. I was kind of taken aback whenever I read that, because while it wasn't my favorite song in the movie, it also wasn't bad, I don't think. But unfortunately for Thumbelina, this Razzie win is cemented in history because it's the first animated film to ever win a Razzie Award. I think in totality, this movie and the story of Thumbelina are just kind of strange. I knew of Thumbelina as a character, but I was not aware of any story surrounding that character, so I have no idea how accurate this movie's story is to the story by Hans Christian Andersen, but let's just say that the story of this movie is correct. It's the definitive version of Thumbelina's story. The story of Thumbelina is just kind of strange. This movie is basically just her getting harassed by predators and people trying to take advantage of her. Quite frankly, it was jarring just how many characters immediately tried to do something sleazy. I was getting uncomfortable, not gonna lie. I will say that this movie's story is not necessarily its strong suit. I would still go back to the music. I know that the music is up and down, not all the songs are as good as some of the others, but I think that the best part of this movie is having Jodie Benson play Thumbelina, because if you've seen The Little Mermaid, you know that she has a great singing voice, and that just elevates some of those songs in this movie. And with just how many songs there are in this movie, there are a lot, I think that that's super important. But yeah, overall, I had a fun time watching Thumbelina. It's not the best movie ever, it's not the best animated movie ever, but I think that it was a good time. I think it's worth a watch, and I'm glad that I did watch it, because whether I like something, whether I don't like something, whether I'm sort of in the middle about something, I enjoy watching things for the first time. I enjoy being able to form my own opinion on things that I've never heard of, things I didn't know existed, things that everyone raves about. Whether people are praising said thing or hating on said thing, I enjoy watching things and forming my own opinion and, just putting that out there. But yeah, that's really all I've got to say for now about Thumbelina. Have you seen this movie? Is this a movie that you grew up with? Is this one that you kind of didn't really hear about growing up? One that got lost in the weeds, similarly to the way I was growing up. I never heard about this movie. If you've seen it, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below. Is this a childhood movie for you, a nostalgic one? Is it one you didn't really care for? Let me know. And if it's one that you've never seen, go check it out. And then let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below. But yeah, if you want to help me out here on YouTube, liking this video, commenting on this video, subscribing to the channel, or checking out some of my other videos, all those things help me grow the YouTube channel. But yeah, until next time. Bye. Okay, something that I forgot to mention is that I recognize the jitterbugs in this movie as characters. I've seen them before, the name sounds familiar, I have no idea why. Maybe I had like a toy when I was really, really young of like the jitterbugs, because originally I thought maybe, when I was in Disney World when I was a kid, but this wasn't a Disney film at the time, and so that wouldn't make sense. So maybe I had a jitterbugs toy at one point. That's the only thing that makes sense. Somebody has to let me know if they also had a jitterbugs toy or if they remembered these being a thing, because if not, I'm going to go insane. But yeah, that's all I got. Bye.